save to file demonstration. What this is going to do is basically show you most and reform, and it's going to use most to archive a document to one of the folders on this system. It's a pretty simple one. It's not using like LDAP or anything like that. It's just going to the local hard drive here, but it's going to demonstrate the main idea of what we're doing. So what I like to do is start up the emulator just to give you an idea. Okay, now when I start the emulator, it's basically going to ask me which size screen I'd like to use. We're just going to use WVGA as the default, and that's basically the blue screen that you see on the C-type or the F-type machines typically. Okay, so now this should kind of look a little bit familiar. You have your buttons along the left side on your MFP. If you scroll over to the right, you have your keypad, and of course the most important part is the screen that we're using. Here on the emulator, I'm going to basically specify the server and the port number, and the port number is 15,000 by default, so we don't need to change that. But to enter the IP address of the server, I'm just going to look at my manager here, and it's 192.168.0.80. I'm just going to type it here. Now, when we're installing this to an actual MFP, you can specify these beforehand, so you wouldn't need to enter it on the MFP. This is only needed because I'm doing this through the emulator. Now I'm going to log in with demo and demo, and here we can see most. And we'll notice that there's a few screens that are kind of pre-made just to demonstrate it a little bit. The first one we have is save to file. You have a manual save to file and LDAP. Like I said, I don't really have LDAP set up on this system. What it's actually doing is we have a user named demo set within most, and it's really just a local user. But if I had set up LDAP, I could log in with my Windows username and password, and I could browse my home directory here. Then we have email. Again, we have just regular SMTP. And then we have LDAP, where you can search for different usernames. If I search quick, you'll see demo comes up in the list. And we have the administration screen. And this is basically to allow you to easily configure your email server right from the MFP. So if your email server IP changes or the username changes, there's no need to go to the server. You can actually do it right from the MFP and update the server. So what I'd like to show now is just a regular save to file. And here I'll just browse test1, and you can see I could browse into the directory. I could choose a file name. I'm just going to name this most demo. And we're going to click on process. Now where this is actually going is on my C drive, and I'll show you how to determine where this is going or how to set it. But for now I'm just going to show you where this is going or where this is browsing. If I go on my C drive and I go in my temp folder, you'll notice I have test1, test2, and test3. Just like the most screen. And within test 1, I now have my most demo PDF. This is what I just scanned using the emulator. The image that it uses isn't exactly, pretty, but it kind of gives you the idea. That's just the image that gets installed with the emulator. Now, to kind of demonstrate a little bit about save to file, or at least what we have here, if I was to create a new directory, you can see I've created it within the test1 folder, and it's named most sample folder. Now, if I walk up to the MFP, right now you can see it's not in my list, but if I want to refresh it, I can simply click on test1 to collapse it, and when I expand it again, you'll notice my new folder is there. So it's really real-time, like it gets updated in real time. There's no need to, refresh your settings or anything like that. As soon as you make that change, all you need to do is do something on most so that it knows to check it again. It's about as real-time as you can get, as you can see. Again, if I was to delete this folder, the same thing could be done. You'll notice it's no longer in the list. So there's no need to manage most separately. It really runs pretty well with what you currently have existing. So that's just a quick save to file demonstration of what most can do, and this demonstration is actually installed with most. Again, all I've done today so far was I installed Reform and most, and I walked through the settings configuration, which was mostly set up by default. Really, setting up save to file like this is pretty straightforward.